Alright, look, we've been hearing Switch 2 rumors since the console came out, but now it's finally real! Nintendo announced on the Bird app that they were actually gonna be announcing a sequel to the Switch soon. TBH, a part of me still wants to call cap, but look, it's really for real this time. So with this impending announcement, I want to take a look back at Nintendo's biggest, most sleepiest sleeper hit. Alright, never mind. Nintendo's second most sleepiest sleeper hit. We were too harsh on the Wii U, man. Let's talk about it. Shout out Sony and Microsoft, but Nintendo does something very different with their new consoles that they don't. Every time a new Nintendo console drops, you can expect the most drastically different shit compared to what came before. The Wii U to the Switch, the GameCube to the Wii, the N64 to the GameCube, the Game Boy to the DS, even the Wii U, which was a whole ass sequel to the Wii, ended up being so drastically different from the Wii. Them just doing a whole ass gamepad for fun. Granted, the Wii U did have backwards compatibility and Wii Remote support, so you could kind of tell it was a sequel. Hey, this has been on my mind for years, bruh. Is this controller called a Wii Remote or a Wii Mode? Somebody please. But compare Nintendo's whole lineup of consoles to the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and you guessed it, PlayStation Series XYZ. Bro, why did they name the Xbox that? This ain't a diss on PlayStation either though, but Nintendo objectively does have the most variety in their consoles, for better or worse. The Wii U is kind of confusing to a lot of consumers off rip too, cause like, are we buying a whole new console or just the gamepad? Somebody make it make sense. You can see how calling it the Wii U and then heavily focusing on the gamepad during the advertising could be kind of confusing, right? The launch titles also didn't help, but I will not allow any slander on Nintendo Land, dog. This game used to bang! The Luigi's Mansion minigame, classic. The Zelda minigame, classic. I low-key don't remember the others, but Nintendo Land was still vibes as This console also launched with a whole bunch of random third-party games, if I'm remembering right, which is kind of crazy because the entire rest of this console's lifespan had like 0 third-party games. The early lifetime of this console was rough as but slowly, and I mean slowly, they started dropping heat. Wind Waker HD, bang! Although that was a remake. Bayonetta 2, bang! I knew next to nothing about Bayonetta when this dropped, but off gameplay alone, this was fire. But then, November 21st, 2014 happened, and this console was truly saved. Smash 4 dropped and changed lives. Splatoon dropped like a year later and changed lives. Actually started picking up for the Wii U. Granted, the sales were still diabolical, but everything else was kind of live. But really, more than anything else, the community was so golden during this era. Nintendo had their little talk show type beat going on, and the directs had so much life and character to them. Their E3 digital presentations were movies too. Remember the Robot Chicken presentation they had with all their characters and stop motion type figures? That shit was absolutely goated. And then they had the presentation with the puppets too. I feel like I remember people not liking that one as much, but dog, compared that to what we get now, it's kind of crazy. RP E3, dog. That really used to just be a whole week of banger announcements. And it's not to say that directs now are particularly bad or anything, but it definitely does feel like they've somewhat been stripped of their character, you feel me? They have recurring people at Nintendo who would show up all the time too, like Reggie the GOAT and Big Bill the Legend. Like, remember the Reginator arc? The fact that that happened 10 years ago now is a little unsettling, dog. I think Iwata also played a huge role in the atmosphere of character there too, dog. RIP the GOAT. The community of YouTubers was also on fire. Some of the greatest creators to this day really started popping during this era, and dog, watching all of it unfold was truly something special. In general, I feel like we were too harsh on the Wii U, dog. Like, yeah, it was marketed in a very confusing way, not gonna lie, but it also had to follow up on Nintendo's actual biggest success ever at the time, so it was already gonna be a daunting task regardless. I feel like that's part of why the Switch ended up doing so well. Being down and out for like 5 years is probably a great motivator to drop some heat. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot, another one of the Wii U's biggest strengths was, of course, Miiverse. Look, dog, you really just had to be there, bro. Miiverse was like a console exclusive social media where niggas could post about whatever games they were into at the time, and each game had their own little subsection type beat. And they gave Smash a whole ass Miiverse stage where you could actually have your own post show up in the background of matches. It's little things like that that made special. Not to mention the Wii U and the 3DS kind of went hand in hand on some yin and yang Goku and Vegeta too. The Wii U may have been failing financially, but the 3DS was still going crazy. So it really only made sense for them to be supported at the same time. You said we trying to drop a new Fire Emblem? Put it on the Wii U? Hell nah! But if we drop it on the 3DS, it's gonna do numbers. Imagine a world where there was a Fire Emblem on this console, bro. I'm already knowing it would have been the sleepiest of sleeper hits. I think shit like that is why the Switch got out the ass ports for Wii U games pretty early into its lifespan. It kind of just made sense, you feel me? Objectively great games dropped on this console, but no one played it? Say less! Let's just drop it again on the Switch. Like, really imagine if Breath of the Wild was a Wii U exclusive, then it wouldn't have even been nominated at the Game Awards, despite still being one of the greatest games to ever come out. I feel like that's the same reason Smash 4 needed to drop on both Wii U and 3DS. They knew they had some heat coming, but by that point, not enough people were paying attention to this console to care enough. So why not drop it on other shit too? The Wii U really did have so much potential, but there just weren't enough eyes on it to be fully realized. At least the modding community was lit as f off this console too though. I guess it also wasn't really powerful enough to keep up with a lot of other games Sony and Microsoft were hosting too, which defo didn't help. And the Switch kind of has a similar problem, but also I feel like that's a partial optimization thing too. But really, I don't know anything about porting games onto other consoles, so I think it's interesting that at a certain point in Breath of the Wild's development, the higher-ups likely came to the team and told them, yo, this console do not have the knees to hold this game up right now, dog. We need to drop this on both consoles or else no one will play this. Which I guess is the same thing that happened with Twilight Princess on the GameCube and Wii, except I don't think the GameCube was in a dire situation the way the Wii U was. Oh yeah, the Wii U also had Xenoblade X, which was absolute heat. I do wish I played more of it, but Xeno 2 was absolutely goated. One day I'm gonna play 3. One day. Look, I don't know when it's gonna be, especially if we're getting a whole new console. That better be back. I got some oil in my eye, bro. My fault. Anyway, it better be backwards compatible because that's still in my eye. Oh, fuck. It better be backwards. It's still in my eye. It better be backwards compatible. I'm gonna just close the eye. It better be backwards compatible, please, bro. Because I need to play Xeno 3. This isn't sustainable. I can't keep my one eye open. One eye open when I'm sleeping. Looking at everything the Wii U had to offer, dog, I can't in good conscience call this console a failure. And maybe a lot of that is personal bias, but there were way too many gems that came with this piece of hardware and this era it ushered in. Comparing it to how well Sony and Microsoft were doing with their consoles, well, Microsoft was kind of, you know, not doing so great either, actually. But when you compare the Wii U to how the PS4 was doing, it's extremely easy to write this off as a straight up failure, piece of doo-doo ass. But this not so small little pocket of the internet was still thriving off it like crazy. Oh yeah, this console also brought us the Amiibo arc too, which kind of died. Are Amiibos still being made, bro? A part of me is mourning the loss of what was, but another part of me is also super hopeful for what's next, you dig? The vibes is very different from how they were during the Wii U era and even during the first half of the Switch's lifespan, but that really don't even have to be a bad thing. I also low-key blame the virus a little bit because that kind of just threw everything completely off. Also, regardless, gaming in general is looking fantastic. Sparking Zero got me at the edge of my seat waiting for this to drop. I need a PC before this game drops. I desperately need a PC before this game drops. GTA 6 is actually a real living, breathing thing that's gonna happen kind of soon, which is crazy. Marvel Overwatch is a thing, and now the sequel to the Switch is real? Say less! It was nice to just look back at this era for the one time though. Remembering Etika's Smash 4 news videos for every reveal as they were coming out was absolutely crazy too. You really just had to be there. So was the Wii U actually ahead of its time? No. But it was so painfully slept on, it might as well be. But anyway, yeah, shout out to PU and shout out you.
I can't feel my face right now, I'm burning up. I got this feeling that I won't come down, like got this my face right now. I'm burning up. I got this feeling that I won't come down like.